performance. I'd like to get us all to think of how we see volunteer service differently. For many of us, we see volunteer service as an opportunity to give back. Is that fair enough? And we think about the impact that we're able to make to that benefactor of our service. But let me ask you this. How many of us have ever thought about the impact that that service engagement had on our own performance and on the performance of other stakeholders in the community? Let's think about this. Let's say we're going to engage in mentoring someone. It's clear that that individual, that person, is going to benefit from our volunteer service. Is that fair enough? Now, think about the performance competency that you're going to have the opportunity to hone in on and sharpen. By you finding ways to help this individual grow their development and their performance, you're honing in on the skill of developing talent. Do you agree? You are acquiring best practices of how to develop talent. So think about what that will do for you as a leader, what that will do for you when you go back to the workplace and manage your team and lead a team. Do you think that's going to have an impact on how effective you are developing the talent on your team? So that's one example. And what we call that is a serve to perform connection. And if you flip your bookmark to the side that has a listing of the serve to perform connections, we've given you a few examples of what we call serve to perform connections to give you an idea of what we're referring to. And we're in the process of launching a database that will automate all of this, that will allow us all to go in and identify different serve to perform connections, but also to allow us to contribute serve to perform connections to benefit all of us and make it a whole lot easier. So what we want you to understand is that when you engage in service, one person, when just one of you engages in service, you initiate what we refer to as the Grand Slam performance effect. We know what a Grand Slam is, right? It's when we create a situation and we empower everyone to win. We bring them all home and we all score. And when you do that, your outcome is bigger, right? And your team wins. And so when you think of that example from baseball, think of what happens when you initiate the Grand Slam performance effect through service. By you going and engaging in this mentoring opportunity, yes, you impact the performance of that individual, but you also impact your own performance. You impact the performance of your company because you're much more effective now at developing talent. And that individual that you just impacted will impact others, so they're impacting the community. Guess what? This Grand Slam performance effect. One person. And so when we think about talent development as an organization, I want you to think about service differently. And just think of the endless opportunities that are out in the community available for you today and for your talent. We do a great job taking our talent through training classes. Wonderful job. And what I'd like to offer is another very economical option to further drive your efforts in growing the performance of your talent and that service. It's available to anyone, no cost, just takes equity, sweat equity, time and energy. It's accessible to anyone, to any time, anyhow. So I'd like for all of us to think about that for a second and think about how we grow talent differently. And by you doing that, not only are you growing your talent, you're growing the performance of your community and others around it. Does that make sense? Excellent. So we have an exceptional lineup of leaders who are here today to share a lot of wisdom with us, a lot of great insight. And I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker here today, Donnie Smith. Donnie is the CEO of Tyson Foods, and he's been with the company since 1980, so over 20 years, and he's been CEO of the company since 2009. And during his tenure, he has served a number of leadership positions here with Tyson. And I'll tell you that not only is Donnie the top executive of the largest producer of protein, he's a champion for service and for making our communities a better place to live, work, and play for everyone. So it's a distinct pleasure of mine to have Donnie with us today. So please help me welcome Donnie Smith.
Say this. We got bragged on a little bit by Adam, and thank you so much about our heart and how much we do give. And you know, it really is kind of baked into the heart of our people. You would be surprised how little senior management around here has to encourage people to help. I'll give you a quick story. So, up at when the tornado came through Joplin, one of our senior leaders called a couple of his locations. One was at Noel and one was at Chicken Quick, and said, "I need you to get your teams ready to send." And they said, "So do we need to pull them back and get them ready to send? Because they're already there." Right? So it doesn't, we don't have to have senior leaders picking up the phone around here and saying, there's a need, go help. Now, we do sometimes need to add a little organization. We have to, occasionally we have to remind folks, look, this is a for-profit business and we've got to all be here working. But it's just in our heart. It's baked into the fabric of Tyson to be involved in other people's lives. Our purpose statement says making great food and making a difference, right? And I love both of those. I love making great food and I love making a difference. And our folks do make a difference, and it's important to make a difference in the community where you live and where you grow and where people see you, because they need to know your heart. If I will never be the mayor, but if I was the mayor, I would want to know that one of the largest employers in the city is a good actor, right? I want to know their heart. I want to know what they do. When I go around town, I want to see them involved. I want to see, khaki shirts on a soccer field, helping soccer teams. I want to see them when I go to the Samaritan Community Center. I want to see, Rick Thomason packing backpacks. I want to see that stuff, because I know then that I don't have to worry about getting bad news from that employer, right? And so it is important. But something that Adam said, and I just want to reiterate it. It really is not only beneficial to the community, but also to the person who is given the service. We have a servant leadership model here, so for us it's all about service. We view our leadership as an act of service. And hey, most of y'all either know about me, or have heard me or something. And you all know that my faith is a big part of who I am. It's really important to me. And there's a principle of giving. The Bible says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And let me give you just a quick example of how that plays out. There's a friend lived here for a while. His wife, he's a U.S. citizen. His wife was not a U.S. citizen. She was here on a work visa. Well, anyway, her work visa expired, and when she went back to Mexico to get all that taken care of, she was about a month or two or so behind. And so, in the eyes of the government, she was here illegally. And so we've spent now 4 years trying to get that deal fixed, right? So my friend Chris he's moved back because he just wasn't able to take care of them in Mexico like he should. So he get up here, and we've got him enrolled in Northwest Arkansas Community College so he can learn HVAC, and he's getting some help from the VA and that kind of thing. And he had a job, and for whatever reason doesn't have that job anymore. And so I was talking to him, and I give relatively frank feedback, right, guys? And so in one of my conversations with him, I said, "So I understand you're looking for a job every day. What are you doing?" "What do you mean?" "Well, what are you doing? I mean, you're sitting around the house, you check your email in the morning. If there's nothing in your inbox, what are you doing?" And that's the answer that I got on the phone. And I said, "Listen." And our church has what we call the Compassion Center, kind of right across from the United Bank, right there on 71. And I said, "Listen, you've got time, you need to go to the Compassion Center and spend your time in the Compassion Center. You got nothing else to do. Go there and serve and work. Who knows? Somebody may come in that knows where you can get a job. How do you know, right? But you need to know and serve and use your talents and learn, by the way, in that setting, how you could work in retail. You know, what it means to stock a shelf. You can learn a skill that you can use, and you can help the community and others that frankly need help. That applies to all of us, whether we're working or not. I don't view it as, I kind of made a joke about it a little bit earlier, but I don't view it as when someone is going to serve. For example, we do a ton of work because of our nature and hunger relief. We do a ton of work with the food bank. We do SNAP challenges where we take teams of people and they get $100 as a team of 4, which is, you know, roughly equivalent to about what you'd get in the SNAP program. Used to be food stamps. I don't want to insult you or anything, but that's what that means. And so we go out and we spend that $100 and you try to find a nutritious meal and that kind of thing. And we do those things around town. We don't view that as those folks are taking time away from their job to go do something for the community to help our public relations. That ain't how we look at it. The way we look at it is that's a development tool for our people to understand a lot of things. What our consumers are like, what they're going through, the choices they have to make, the offerings we have to provide. You know, we say making great food and making a difference, and we say our food makes a difference. Well, how does it? You find out when you're walking down that aisle and you've got to get a protein serving and a diet, right? There's so much you can learn when you do. And you know, for me, I've got ADD so bad, you know, and so just sitting in a classroom, you know, I'm like a dog in a yard full of squirrels, right? Everything that moves, right? But when I go do and it gets active and I can put my hands on it, then I remember that it sinks in and it becomes part of me. So as you go through the day, first of all, thank you for taking this much time to learn about the benefits and learn new ways to do that. I don't know how the day will go, but we are always looking for ways where we can plug in and make a difference in folks' lives. And if we can learn more how to do that more effectively, that's important to us because Springdale's important to us. Every community we work in is important to us. Springdale's home, and it's important for us here. So do us a favor, and if there's suggestions you have for us or criticisms and stuff we're messing up, you know, we're all ears. We want to get better. So help us with that, okay? And I think you're in for a very delightful day, and my 10 minutes are up. Thank you very much.